You
Yeah.
said Elon looking up. There's something about childlike wonder to him, like to his personality, his character. Something about, I think, more so than others, where people can trust him. And there's, I don't know, Sundar Pichai is an example of
Hmm.
somebody who's like, there's some kind. It's hard to put into words, but there's something about the human being where he's trustworthy.
Yeah.
He's human in a way that connects to us. And the same with Sajid Nadella. I mean, some of these folks, something about us is drawn to them, even when they're flawed. Even like, so like your thesis really holds up for Steve Jobs because I think people didn't like Steve Jobs, but like he delivered products that, and then they fell in love every time. I guess you could say that the CEO, the leader, is also a product. And if they keep delivering a product that people like by being in public and saying things that people like, that's also a way to make people happy. But from a social network perspective, it makes me wonder how difficult it is to explain to people why certain things happen, like to explain machine learning, to explain why certain the the woke mob effect happens, or the certain kinds of like bullying happens,
Mm.
which is like it's human nature combined with algorithm, and it's very difficult to control for. How the spread of quote unquote misinformation happens, it's very difficult to control for that. And so you try to decelerate certain parts, and you create more problems than you solve. And anything that looks at all like censorship can create huge amounts of problems. It's a slippery slope. And then you have to inject humans to oversee the machine learning algorithms. And anytime you inject humans into the system, it's going to create a huge number of problems. And I feel like it's up to the leader to communicate that effectively, to be transparent. First of all, design products that don't have those problems. And second of all, when they have those problems, to be able to communicate with them. I guess that's all going to, when you run a social network company, your job is hard.
Yeah. I will say the one element that you haven't named that I think you're getting at is just bedside manner, which Steve Jobs, I never worked for him. I never met him in person. Had like an uncanny ability in public to have bedside manner. I mean, some of the best clips of Steve Jobs are from like, I want to say maybe the 80s when he's on his stage and getting questions from the audience about life, or and he'll take this question that is like, how are you going to compete with blah? And it's super boring. And I don't
Yeah,
even know the name of
yeah,
the company. And his answer is as if you just asked like your grandfather the meaning of life.
yeah, yeah,
And you sit there and you're just like, what? Like,
yeah,
and there's that bedside manner. And if you lack that, or if that's just not intuitive to you, I think that it can be a lot harder to gain the trust of people. And then add on top of that missteps of companies,
yeah.
right? It's, I don't know if you have any friends from the past where like maybe they crossed you once, or like maybe you get back together and you're friends again, but you just never really forget that thing. It's human nature not to forget.
I'm Russian. You crossed me once. We solved the problem.
So my point is, there's humans don't forget. And if there are times in
Yeah,
the past where they feel like they don't trust the company or the company hasn't had their back, that is really hard to earn back, especially if you don't have that bedside manner. And again, like I'm not attributing this specifically to Mark because I think a lot of companies have this issue where one, you have to be trustworthy as a company and live by it and live by those actions. And then two, I think you need to be able to be really relatable in a way that's very difficult if you're worth like what these people are. It's really hard.
yeah.